Welcome to God Dreamers, episode Submerged Stories, Life on a Sub, where we dive deep into the lives of those who have served beneath the waves. I'm your host, Todd Bethel, and today we have an incredible guest with us. Joining us is Jairus Bethel, a former sonar technician for the U.S. Navy. Jairus has an extraordinary story to share, filled with challenges, triumphs, and the unique experience of life as a submariner. From rigorous training to navigating the depths of the ocean, Jairus' journey is one of resilience, dedication, and remarkable accomplishments. In this episode, we'll explore Jairus' life aboard a submarine, the obstacles he faced, and the lessons he learned along the way. Get ready to be inspired by his unwavering spirit and the incredible world of underwater adventures. So without further ado, let's dive into Submerged Stories, Life on a Sub, with our special guest, Jairus Bethel. What's up, fam? Welcome to another edition of God Dreamers. I hope you are doing quite well. Anyway, I wanted to share a little bit about this episode with my son. The eldest of the Bethel clan, and I thought it would be kind of cool to for him to share his life and the dynamic between us, but mainly his life living and serving in the U.S. Navy as a submariner, and all the adventures, all the challenges, just the experience. And I thought it would be kind of cool to share because not too many people can share that because there's not that many people that do what he did. So, welcome to God Dreamers.
Thank you,
my son.
I'm happy to be here, and like you said, it's a cool thing just to talk about submarines and just be a part of that journey and that livelihood. Because, like you said, not a lot of people, or not a lot of black people, to be honest, have even been in that experience. So I'm glad to have experienced it, and I'm glad to share it between all y'all, and especially with you.
Yeah, and by the way, his name's Jairus Bethel.
Oh, so. Yeah. Hi, I'm Jairus Bethel.
Yeah, man. So you were in the Navy, and I guess we'll back up a little bit. We'll share a little bit about why you were in the Navy.
Hey, nah, for real. It's always the reason behind everything.
Now we're talking about the parents-children dynamic. And it doesn't work with everybody. But yeah, you want to share a little bit about that? How you ended up in the Navy?
Yeah. That's funny. But everything happens for a reason. But anyways, so this is around 2013. I graduated high school. I wanted to go the college route, so I went to Clayton State for a semester. And I found out during that semester I wasn't really ready for college, I guess, in that sense. Everything was cool, but not really. The grades were slacking a little bit. But
a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we ain't gonna go into the details, but it wasn't like I was on probation or anything, but it was definitely an altering moments. What do I need to do with my life? So after that first semester, I was like, all right, well, you actually was like, all right, what's the plan? He sat me down, I was like, yo, what's the plan? You you can go back to school, but you had to make sure you do better. And then he was like, well, the other option is go work or join the military. I was like, what would be the best thing for me at this time? So as we all know, I chose the military route, but I think the biggest thing you were just telling me is have a plan and just make sure you're making the best decision for the future in that sense.
Yeah.
Because just I wasn't ready. I wasn't mentally ready for college at that point. But I came back. But we're gonna go back to go into details later. But so that was really the reason why I joined the military, is because you really sat me down. It's like, yo, what's the plan? And I had coming to a Jesus moment. Yeah, coming to a God moment. It's what is my purpose here on earth? So I went into the military that summer in 2014.
July. Was it 2014?
Yeah, it was 2014.
14?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
2014, yeah.
Because you graduated in 2013 from high school, right?
May.
Yeah.
So graduated in May. did that first semester, and then I went to like the recruiter like I think it was like around December, January time frame. And then like January 2024, and then I left like that July.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it was
kind of cool because I remember we first approached the Air Force.
yeah.
We met with one of the sergeants, and we were talking to the Air Force. I don't know what happened, why that didn't go down.
I think that was
as
before I went to Clinton State. That was like during that summer.
planned. Was it? Yeah.
And then that was like the Air Guard.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, the only thing you can really do is like be a police, like I can't remember what they call it in the Air Force, but like military police.
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah,
I'd rather do something different.
Yeah.
But
and then when you enlisted, so the recruiter was really pushing the submarine, right? I mean, at the time.
Yeah, actually, it wasn't my specific recruiter, because my recruiter was, I think he was an LS, like a logistics. But the other recruiter in there, he was from a submarine, and he was saying like, yeah, like you should do it type thing. But I didn't really know I was going to go into submarines until like I took the ASVAB, and then when in MEPS, they like, I think they have like people that's part of like all jobs and stuff like that. So this is they're like, based on your ASVAB score, these are the jobs that you can pick from. So it's like 5 jobs.
So you picked it? So you picked the submarine?
Yeah, in this case, yeah, I did pick it, yeah.
The funny thing about this is that probably 20 odd years before that, I was thinking about going into the Navy, and I actually took the ASVAB and went through the whole process, and then the recruiter said that you're going to work on a boomer. You go in, because first when I went to the Navy, I said, hey, I want to be a pilot. He said, well, the best you can be is a navigator, because at the time, I was wearing these glasses, and well, not these particular glasses, but I had a corrective lenses, and so he said the best you could be is a navigator. And then I was like, well. He said, well, here's another option. You could be on a submarine. I was like, that'd be kind of cool. That'd be different. So, I was going to, if I had signed, I would have gone to be on a boomer. But just the recruiter came, I remember vividly, recruiter came to the house. My dad was sitting there. And I was getting ready to sign. My dad said, nah, hold up for a second. He said, I'll pay for half of your college, so you don't have to go into the military. So long story short, I ended up going to school instead, but I was that close to becoming a submariner. So you kind of fulfill that role that I did not do.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It is funny because it's kind of opposite. Like you were somewhat good in school, instead of like your dad was like, nah, you just go to school. Compared to like, nah, you need to get away from school and go to the military.
Well,
so
you
did the switch.
When I went to school, I was a little bit more focused, and I was scared too. Because I went to Georgia Tech, and so that's much you had to go there and be really focused. So I was scared to doing well. But I think for your experience was you just wanted to have a good time and I had a good time, but I was a little bit more nerdy, geeky, and didn't want to do bad. So. And I'm not saying you want to do bad, but I said the pressure was on for me to really excel. So it was a different time, different place, different circumstances.
Yeah, 100%.
But share about I remember the day before you went, we met up at the hotel. I had all the recruits meet up at the hotel, and I remember we took a picture, and then I was like, man, this is crazy, man. So I mean, what were you feeling? Because I was feeling kind of. Not necessarily stress, but just going into the unknown. But I mean, you were actually experiencing this personally. So what was that feeling like?
I don't know. Like it was like, cause it really didn't hit. It didn't really hit until like you probably seen a lot of boot camp videos when you get off the bus and everybody started yelling at you. That's when it really hit. It's like, oh man, I'm really doing this. But like throughout that process, it was like, all right, like. I don't even know. Like I was just ready. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was ready, but I was, still nervous, because I don't know what I was getting myself into. But it really hit when I got off the bus and everybody started yelling at you. It's like, stand in the line. Like, it was crazy. That moment was like, yo, man, I'm really in the military right now.
Yeah, because when you got sworn in, everybody was so nice. Like,
yeah, exactly.
How you doing? It's like, oh, they kind of tricked you, man.
For real.
you sworn in here in Atlanta, and then you were sent off to basic training up in Chicago area, right?
Great Lakes.
Yeah. So like you said, when you got off the bus, that's when reality
when it hit, man.
reality
Hard.
So what was you thinking then? It's like, what the heck?
It's like, yo, and then it's crazy. So this is like everybody's in like it's like a long hallway. Like all the recruits are like on each side of the hallway, and the drill sergeants are just like walking in the middle, just yelling. So I remember this vividly. It's like, all right, everybody make your last phone call. And then so everybody's calling their parents like, yo, I made it here, like I'm getting ready for boot camp this experience. Man, I called mom, I called dad, no answer. I was like, oh man, I really about to experience this, and I didn't get to talk to nobody. And then everybody around me was like, they got in contact with somebody at least. I didn't get in contact with nobody. Yeah, I was like, all right, well, this is.
I wonder where were we?
I can't remember. Y'all told me later. I was like, oh man, like I feel so bad. I saw your phone call, that I missed it. It's like, because it was like a short moment. You only had like a few minutes to like call.
Bad parents.
Supportive parents. But no, it was all good though. I came out strong, and I went through it. But that was like, all right, let's go. Let's get to this.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that joint was crazy. Like I really still remember it vividly, and that was like 10 years ago now.
So what was that like, man? What was the experience being on base and going through basic training? I mean, what was that like? What was that experience like?
It's just a mental game.
Just mental game?
It's literally just a mental game. They really just want to weed out people that's not mentally strong. So that's really that's what really boot camp is like to turn you from like a average American citizen to somebody that really just follows orders, and just they want people that can shape into what they want you to be shaped into, what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's really what it is. It's just a mental game just to get you, I guess, transform you into a military sailor. So yeah, it's just a mind game. Everybody just like messing with you mentally, and you just gotta get through it and just be headstrong and just like, all right, I gotta go to finish, do the finish line, walk across the stage, and be like, all right, now you're a sailor. So that's the biggest thing, is just a mental game. Like especially like when you grow up, I mean, when you go through the the life cycle of being a sailor, everybody wants to become a drill. Not everybody, but when you finally figure out like what a drill sergeant is, like it's just games. Like they want to go there and just like mess with recruits because that's what their job is, just to have fun.
Have fun with it. Yeah, it's like fun. Yeah. I mean, it's not fun on the receiving end. But it's fun for the person that gives it.
Yeah, because like I said, it's just a mental game. They're just there just to mess with you and just try to break you through verbally and like physically.
So I remember when you finished up boot camp and you came home. Well, actually, you didn't really come home. You actually had a transfer in Atlanta.
I got lucky. Yeah,
you got transferred with another sailor, and so I remember you coming back, man. I was like, this dude was all clean cut. I mean, hair, little skinny head, skinny body, had his little white sailor suit on. I said, look at Jairus, man. He's like little grown person.
Facts.
So I already saw a change then, and then I guess you went off to A school and C school.
Just A school.
A school.
Yeah, A school it wasn't even technically A school yet. It was just sub school.
Just sub school. Okay.
Yeah, sub school, and then you go to like your specific rate, your job school. So A school.
Yeah.
And
that's just basically learning your skill set for that particular job. So what was it like, man? I'm a techie, so I love technology. I love like gadgets and things like that. So especially big machinery, like trains and ships and subs. So when you finish up your school and you're getting ready to get deployed on your sub, and then when you're walking up to the sub, what were you thinking? What was that experience like?
The deployment, or just actually the first time going on the boat?
The first time on the boat.
Anybody that's been on the submarine, they're gonna agree with me. Like the first thing you notice is the smell, because it's this thing called amine, and it's like that's the first thing you notice when you go on the sub, because that's particularly the smell.
Is it a good smell, bad smell, neutral smell, or just a different kind of smell?
It's a different kind of smell. It's not. I mean, it's bad for let's say you just don't know what the smell is, but you can just tell. You know what I mean? Because everything just smells like amine. But I don't know. Like the first time, like that's the first thing I did notice, just the smell off the bat. I can still remember it to this day. But that, and then I don't know, it's just different. Like it's just because everybody, like being on a submarine is like a huge community. Like everybody is just close knit. You know, it's a big family. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you can already just tell off the bat when you first get there. Like everybody's like welcome in, like hey, welcome to the boat. You know, just good luck here. But that's really I was greeted with Lila just like optimism and just like good, you know, just like family type oriented, like hey, welcome, you know what I mean? It was a warm welcome.
Yeah.
But it was nerve wracking because I didn't know what I was getting into. Like, but we can go into like the first time going undersea and like stuff like that. That was like a nerve wracking experience by itself. But walking onto the boat, it was like, okay, what?
Yeah,
this is what I'm getting into. Okay,
like, yo, that's a lot of space in here, man.
Yeah. Kinda.
Oh man, look at my suite where I sleep.
with 3 other people. Hot racking.
I mean, I've been on one of those older subs, and it's very, what do you call it? Utility like. It's like industrial like. I mean, it's nothing fancy. It's like pipes and
everywhere
and wires and gauges and stuff like that. So it's not
everywhere.
I guess like what we see on a couple of the ships, but it's very every space or everything is being utilized to the fullest.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So you got on your sub, you got on the sub, got acclimated to your job, and you're a sonar tech. You're a sonar tech, right? So what was the first when you got deployed? Because I know, there's a period of time where you're kind of getting training on your boat, and then you went out on deployment. And so what was like when you actually went out to sea? What was that experience like?
It was. I
remember you guys did some training first, right?
Before you even stand your watch, because like you had to get qualified for everything you do. So you had to get qualified to stand watch. But so everybody that's new there, they have to go through. Back in the day it was called cranking, but it's like I think what do they call it? FSA, food service attendant. I think now, like a correct way to say it. So like you're there in a galley and you're washing dishes. Like that's your job underway. So when we first get on the boat, that's where you're at, like for at least the first 3 months maybe until you get qualified to stand watch. So that first underway, I was there, and I remember just it was. I'm not gonna lie, like it was kind of scary because my first underway, somebody had like a shellfish allergic reaction. So I was like, yo, like what is going on? Like I remember he was in the galley. And like his face was all bloated and like he was like going through it. I'm like, yo, like I'm nervous because like, is this really like how the way he is? Like somebody's already sick, like somebody, you know what I mean? Like it just like just hit me hard. It's like, yo, I don't know if I want to be here because it would just, it just like that first thing you see is just somebody hurting with just some type of allergy. But it was cool, just like because like it was just a regular underway, so like we weren't gone for long. It was like a week or something. But just to actually submerge for that first time was like a crazy experience. It was cool because it's like when you think about it now and understand how a submarine works, it's like, oh yeah, this is real cool. But I didn't really understand anything about a submarine then. I was just there, new.
Washing dishes.
Yeah, just washing dishes, doing literally the most minimalistic thing ever. But it was just cool just to like how everything flowed. Like everything is like routine. Like everybody has a specific area to be on the boat at specific times. There's a lot of stuff going on when it comes to like in the control room with different like diving alarms and everybody manning their watch stations just to get ready to submerge. Like it's a process to even go down submerged. You got to make sure all the valves are closed. Make sure the hatches are shut. Make sure everything is in order so we don't flood the boat or anything. Having any type of casualties or anything like that. So just seeing how everything is just orchestrated is like, yo, I don't know how I'm gonna like survive here. I don't know how I'm gonna do it because I have no idea what am I even supposed to be doing when it comes to the submarine, like I have no idea like how this life is.
Yeah.
But you learn and grow, obviously. But that first time it was like, yo, I don't know how I'm going to do this. It was just nerve wracking because everything just hit out all at once. But the good thing is like they start you off in the kitchen, so you're just doing something.
Yeah, keep occupied. Yeah. So I mean, so the qualifying aspect of it, what's that like when you get qualified?
I'll say it's hard. It's different because of everybody has their, you go to school for your rate, your job, and everybody has qualifications for for their own job. But just from my experience as a sonar tech, I'll just like talk about that. So like sonar is like really like the biggest division up forward. So like you were talking about like how you're going to go in a submarine for or the boomer, but as a nuke, that's back out. They have their own life back there. But at least in the forward compartment, sonar is like the biggest division. So that takes on a lot of responsibility too, because we can do a lot of things.
Yeah.
So, so qualifying, the first thing you really qualify is broadband. That's like the the higher frequencies, because I don't know how to explain this, but like these the broadband is like higher frequencies, so more close type of contact. So you're learning how to track things that's on the surface and stuff like that. And
so you ain't sharing anything that's classified, right?
No, not yet. No, I'm just like I'm trying. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how to say this. But no, I'm just saying literally the most surface level. Nah, we talking just surface level stuff right here. But so you learn broadband first. That's like literally the basic sonar. And if y'all don't know, like sonar is sound navigation and ranging. That's literally the acronym. Mm-hmm. Sonar is the acronym of that. But so you learn broadband. We have different arrays around the boat because sonar is literally all about listening. Because being on a submarine is all about stealth. So there's two different types of sonar. There's active and passive. Well, I was talking about like with the rays, it's all passive. Like we're just listening. But if we need to, we'll go active, and that's when we're emitting sound into the water. But that's like I said, it's rare.
That's when you ping. That's when you ping.
Yeah, but it's nothing like you hear in movies like ding, ding. It don't sound nothing like that. It's literally like a high frequency like squeal type thing. Oh, okay. Like we can kind of hear it on the submarine when we go like at least HFA and MFA, especially MFA, like medium frequency active. But so like the broadband is you learn first, and then more qualifications you go into like the aughts, and then you do more stuff on the TAWs, and that's more like lower frequency, because if y'all know anything about that, like higher frequency travels like shorter distances compared to lower frequencies. Lower frequencies can go like miles upon miles, and that's where we got the total rays, so it can pick up the lower frequencies.
So that's like those cars booming down the street. You hear the bass boom, boom, boom. You don't hear any highs at all until you get close to it.
Yeah, and it gets louder and louder and louder.
And then you get further away, it goes back to the boom, boom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like that's literally what we learned how to understand how sound works in the water, is like that megaphone effect or whatever, where like you can hear it come. It's kind of weird because like if you're staying in one spot and like you said a car coming, you can just hear it getting louder and louder and louder and louder, and that's literally lower frequency getting to higher frequency because it's getting closer and closer.
Yeah.
But so broadband is like the basics, but with that's just for sonar, just getting all the sonar watches done. But then being on a submarine, you have your warfare device, and that's like what people call the dolphins, your fish. That's where you literally learn everything about the submarine.
Yeah, I remember you sharing about that when you got your Dolphin Award, and it had the ceremony. There's a video of it, and
it's a big deal.
That was really cool, man. That was really cool. I was very proud to see that award, and that was cool, man. It was definitely a proud dad moment, to see that. I gotta figure out where that video is. Maybe I can share it on.
I think it's on Facebook. I still have it on my Facebook account.
Yeah, can you give it to me? I'll share it, and people can see that. But
it was a cool moment because it's big. Like I said, this is literally just like kind of like where the captain has real trust in you to make sure you do what you have to do instead of when a casualty comes. That's really all about. Like everything about a submarine is just making sure you know what to do when a casualty comes, because casualties are like the most detrimental thing happening on the sub, like from fires to floods to back aft, like radioactive waste, just like things like that. Like you have to know what to do when those type of emergencies happen. So that's the biggest thing about being on a submarine, is knowing what to do when things happen.
Yeah, and you mentioned too that a couple of subs that went out for testing. You shared it with me. Like it was the Thresher, and it was another sub. I think.
Just a lot, or just like testing.
Yeah, testing
failures.
testing failures. So it's dangerous. It's super dangerous on a submarine, like you said, because of all the different risks. You know, the fire, radiation, leakage, and then dealing with certain depths. And I mean, you don't have. It's not like in the movies where you see Lost. I think it was one of the Lost to Sea. I can't remember one of those movies where you open a little hatch, you can see underwater. It don't work that way. So
we do not have windows on a submarine.
So you're kind of like using, I guess, maps and stuff like that to help you guide, but you still kind of have to be careful of where you are.
100%.
And then also, the depth of where you are, because that can be dangerous as well.
And that's another thing that we do qualify to is photometer, which is like kind of like sonar, where we just emit in like I guess in a sense active, like it's on the bottom of the boat and we're just pinging it, and it just literally, it's the way that it's crazy how scientific a submarine is, like the thought process that go into everything on there. Like it's really like thought out, just laid out. Like it's crazy. It's really mind-boggling that humans can think of this, to be honest.
Yeah.
But photometer is just something where we don't run into the bottom of the ocean because we have active, and we just always testing like how far we are from the bottom. So like we'll emit sound to the water, and it would like test the timing that it returns back, and then it's some mathematical equation to see how far that depth is from that sound coming back.
But you just got to be careful of mountains, right? Cliffs, underwater cliffs that mountain be deep, and then all of a sudden it gets shallow.
That's what happened to San Francisco. They ran to underwater mountain and somebody died. This was like early 2000s, I think.
So they didn't know they never knew the mountain was there.
That's another thing about submarines is like, or just like the military in general. There's a lot of like learning aspects. Like
and some areas are uncharted too, right? I mean,
it was a lot. It was more. That's what another thing they always teach or keep on talking about is just like, don't be complacent on a submarine or just anything in the military, because that one time you just get relaxed and don't do 100% what you have to do, like that can happen. You know what I mean? So there was a lot of stuff, human error, that led to that in that sense.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to the navigator, like we're going through an area that we really didn't supposed to, in a sense, go down. The photometer wasn't working correctly and stuff like that. So like it was a lot of stuff on the human side that led to like that casualty.
Yeah. So you got to be on it all the time.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing that they always teach or just yell about.
So what was like just being with what was the daily life? What was your daily life like, and how was the crew? I mean, because like you said, you got a whole bunch of men. I guess now women, but you have a set of people that live in close quarters, and so you know how folk are. Well, people start cutting up when they together for a long period of time. But I mean, how was that experience?
It wasn't too bad. Nobody was like getting in fights or nothing like that. Like everybody knows they're there for a reason, and they had to get their job done. But what
was it like sharing cots? I'm sharing your sleeping quarters.
That just sucked. I ain't gonna lie. Like hot racking is normal, pretty normal on a submarine. Like you're gonna have to share your rack with somebody if you're like a junior sailor in a sense. Like when you make rate and stuff like that, that's when you can have more freedom and having your own rack. But in the beginning, like
it's like
you sharing it with 2 people, it's 3 people to 1 rack, and like what you're saying, like the schedule.
Yeah.
The good thing I got in the submarine service when they shifted, because there were like watches of 6 hours. So they had sits to equal 24 hours, and it's always changing. But when I got there, that's when we switched to 8s. So like you get more time to sleep. You just have more hours on watch.
Yeah.
But you do got more time to sleep and stuff like that. So it's nice to like don't have to experience the 6 hour shifts.
So what do you do? Like, I mean, you work. You work your 10, and then you sleep 8. No, you work 8.
Yeah, it's all 8s.
8s. Okay,
Yeah.
So you work 8, you sleep 8.
And then there's 8 off going.
Yeah. So what do you do on that free time?
So
you go swimming or something? I mean, what do you do?
The Typhoon has a pool on it, but that's a whole different story. Like that's a Russian boat. They got a swimming pool on there. So that's,
what?
Yeah,
the Russians are living it up there.
Yeah,
Americans, we gotta get.
No, we don't need no pool on no submarine. That's super extra. But yeah, so the life is like you say, we have 8 hours on watch. Then we have 8 hours off going and 8 hours sleep. So 8 hours, obviously, you're on. On watch, obviously you're on watch, but off going. When you're not qualified or anything, that's all just you have to study. Yeah. So once you get your fish, you have more freedom to go watch movies, go sleep if you want to. That's what I did. After I got my fish, I would go, chill with my friends for a little bit, and then I go hit the rack, and that's what we call rack to the future. Like we just. Like we'll get off watch, go straight to the rack, and we'll be in the rack for 16 hours until we go back on watch. But the off going is really just like scheduled for like maintenance. If you gotta do maintenance, since I was a sonar tech, it wasn't a lot of maintenance because everything's electronic based. We can't really turn things off. So all of our maintenance was really important compared to out to sea. So it wasn't too much maintenance we had to do. So yeah, most of that was really just chilling, to be honest, watching movies, hanging out. You can do really whatever because you're not, on watch. But they might, ask you to relieve somebody on watch or something like that, if something happening and stuff like that. But it just time for you, off time in a sense.
Yeah. So what was your craziest or one of your crazy experiences that you can share, of course, being on a sub?
My craziest? I'm trying to think. What is one of my craziest? Like craziest as in like
just a out of ordinary or exciting or something cool that happened or something that just
to be honest,
something outside the
to be honest, all the coolest things or craziest things is something I can't talk about.
Oh, okay.
like for real, like all the cool things that we did, especially being a sonar tech, being in control, like where you actually see what we're actually out to sea to do. That's really the coolest parts about being on a submarine. But I can't really go into details about that. But I would say like that is the coolest parts, is doing some things like, like we really doing this, like this is cool.
Now, did you ever do, the submarines when they do the fast, what do you call it, the fast?
Oh, emergency blow. That's cool too. That's real cool. Have you done that
before?
Oh yeah, we did that a lot.
So you're kind of leaning like the 45 degrees, something
like
that.
It's cool because you can really feel the boat I guess in a sense floating to the surface. You know what I mean? But it's super fast because emergency blow is really when you blow air into the ballast tanks. So when you blow like a lot of air in there, it really just shoots out the water. So
it comes up pretty fast.
Oh yeah, real fast.
And then it comes up and then it comes down like that.
Yeah, like it's really it's cool. It's a cool little process, but yeah, just like you can feel it when you literally like get out the water and then like kind of like hit the water.
Yeah.
It's like a whale, I guess, in a sense.
Yeah,
when you're
that's pretty cool. I've seen some videos of that happening. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's real cool. Like that's emergency blow. So we don't want to do that other than testing. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's what one of the things with the Thresher, like that's what happened why they sank, is because they had like a casualty, and one of the lines broke for emergency blow. Like it froze. So that's what happened. Like they had a casualty. They tried to get to the surface and the lines froze. So they couldn't get back to surface, so they like sunk like slowly and slowly.
That's horrible.
Down. Yeah, so you don't want to go through emergency blow is already like the last type of ditching effort in a sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you don't want to experience emergency blow other than testing, and hopefully it goes right because that's the only way to get back on the surface.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's scary. So let's talk about some fun stuff. So you're deployed. Your deployment, you're out to sea for extended periods of time, and so sometimes, but you end up at cool places. So share a little bit about the places that you ended up.
Yeah. So on my deployment, we went to three countries: France, Norway, and Scotland. We were supposed to go to Portugal. I'm mad we didn't go to Portugal, but we went to there. We went to Scotland twice though. But I would say my favorite out of those are Scotland and Norway. Actually, Norway, Scotland, and France. I didn't like France at all, to be honest.
What?
But yeah, it was all right.
Yeah. The funny thing about it too is that when you're deployed, we as the parents don't know. We don't hear anything, so it's radio silence for weeks. Yeah. So that's a scary part because you just don't know. What's going on, where you were located, and then you'll pop up and say, "Hey, Dad, Mom, I'm in Scotland." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's pretty cool, in Scotland." Yeah. So what was it like, man? Because I know being underwater or just being, doing all your exercises and stuff. When you finally get to port somewhere, were you guys like, oh, I can't wait to get off this boat so I can
100%.
go and get some fresh air and see people, something like that?
100%. Like just really getting fresh air, 100%. That getting some regular food, sleeping.
So y'all get steak and potatoes and
I mean, it's cool, like, but it's really like
they were
like by the time you're on deployment, like you're getting it's all frozen food. I mean, like it's no fresh salad, it's nothing fresh. It's like all frozen food. You know what I mean?
Don't discourage the people that want to get on the sub.
I mean,
Nah.
so but I'm not like you said, like submarines do get fed better. I guess I've heard. I only experienced the submarine food and it was okay, so I really don't even want to experience surface food.
I heard the guys, submarine, they get the lobster, the steak.
Yeah, but the thing is that when you get lobster, steak, crab legs, any of that is like something clicks in your mind. It's like, all right, why are they giving it to us? And usually, most of the time, it's something like bad news.
Bad news.
Yeah, 100%. It's like, yo, we're gonna get extended, like for real, like because like really, that's why food. They say food is like important on the submarine because it's like a morale booster.
Yeah,
like it. So they're gonna give you something good, and then you're gonna get the bad news after.
So you were on the sub, and then you your first. Where was the first place you went to?
The first one was, I believe, Scotland.
Scotland. So how was that like, man? When you was it now? When you guys go into port, do you stand outside or like on the when you guys came back on your deployment? I remember when we came to see you come in. You had the sailors standing on the sub as you come in. You do all of that stuff, or you just come in kind of?
No, we do that. Like,
do that?
Yeah, when we're on the surface, there's because like most people come out like you said like. Really on the top of the boat on top side is when we're about to moor and stuff like that, when we're actually coming to port. But we're on the surface for miles, traveling into the port. So nobody's really on this top side then. Like that's when we'll be in the sail, and that's when like you got the sail.
Sail up at the top.
Yeah. So like where the periscope and all that is that's where we're when we are on the surface transiting to the port. That's where we'll be at. But if you're getting closer and closer to the port, we'll come more on top side so we can, connect to the pilot, the boat that pilot sets into the port and things like that.
Yeah.
But I'll be mostly top side. That's where I was on, not top side, but in the sail. That's where I'll be as a gunner or a lookout.
Yeah. Okay.
That's something we had to qualify to.
Yeah, and I saw a picture of you with that huge. What was that? With the 50
Mark 48.
Mark 48. Okay. Yeah, that was huge.
I love that gun. That is so fun to shoot. Big old machine gun.
Yeah, that was cool, man. Yeah, it was definitely a proud moment when you came back from deployment when we saw your boat come in. Submarine to me is just like one of the coolest boats out there. I mean, it's just the way it looks and how big it is too. The thing is huge, but it's just a really cool, definitely a proud moment for us just to see it come in. Maybe I'll share that on the videos. We have some pictures of that. But anyway, yeah. So so you were in Scotland, and so what was that like, man? Once you got off the boat, it's like people, sky. There is a sky. There's a sun.
I'm gonna say. Yeah, like getting fresh areas and then like seeing the sun, seeing like the clouds, you know what I mean? Just seeing natural things is like oh my gosh, I missed it so much. Like especially seeing the sun and stuff like that, like you'll actually be, just in a sense of awe because it's like you haven't seen it in months, you know what I mean? And like even like air, like we're breathing recycled farts and stuff like that for months, basically, because really, like, everything is recycled, refiltered over and over again. Even water and all that stuff. Well, not really much water. We get that from the sea.
All right, so what was it like when you first arrived at the port, your first port? What was that experience like? Because I would imagine you have been on the boat for several weeks.
Yeah, especially when we got to our first port. We were gone for about a month and a half, I think, before we actually had a port call. But I know everybody was excited, including me, just to be, not just being on land, but just being in a different country and experiencing a different culture. But Scotland is really not much different than America. Like, it felt like home in a sense. Mm-hmm. But I know everybody was excited just to see just a whole different culture, get to see land, get to see the sun. Really, most importantly, just to see just. I don't know, just other things than just not being in the routine of being on the submarine.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like when we got there, like we had freedom. We had what's it called?
Yeah, leave.
Some people can take leave, but I can't even think of the word now.
Time off.
Yeah, time off. Just to say like just to keep the time short. But yeah, just time off. Liberty. That's what I was word. Liberty. Sheesh. But yeah, just to go out and just actually explore. I know just being in a submarine or just being in the Navy in general, a lot of people just went straight to the bars. To be honest,
Yeah.
Like that's just the whole thing about just the Navy. They just everybody has their own story about drinking. That's really where most people went. But I wasn't even 21 then. So I just really chilled in malls and just explored the area. Got some food. That was one thing about Scotland. Like that wasn't really different, but when we went to like Norway, I tried like whale, like some reindeer sausage.
All those exotic meats.
Yeah, like exotic meats. That was cool. Like whale, like I was excited to taste that because I don't think I never seen whale in America. But
I've never.
it was good. I actually liked it. It was like salty beef in a sense.
Salty beef. What?
Yeah, it was pretty cool just to see something. Try something different.
Yeah.
But I'll say that's like one thing I was really looking forward to when I was going to different countries. Just is trying their food. Just see go out and explore it. The thing is like I was mad because we went to France. Some people went to Normandy and D-Day. Went there to just the beach right there.
Yeah.
I wish I went because that's that's a monumental area to be honest, and just world history or just American history. But the cool thing is that when we went to Scotland, there is right where we moored was kind of like hidden. I don't even know how to. It's like hidden caves, right? I guess it's like hidden caves, but it's like hidden areas where Germans used to have their U-boats in there, like during World War II and stuff like that. So like we can drive by there, you see like little hidden little areas where I think there was one that had like a U-boat still in there actually. Like it was pretty cool to see.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that's one thing is like you can still see a lot of World War II. I guess trademarks or little
relics and
stuff like that over there in Europe. So it's pretty cool to see.
Okay.
Yeah.
So man, I guess as we get ready to close, what would you say? You actually went to a couple of places in your deployment. What would you say you learned the most, just being on the boat? Or what was probably the most lasting experience for you?
I'll say like the camaraderie part. I think that's the biggest thing. Just being on a submarine, everybody's like family. Like you spend 24 hours with somebody on the boat during deployment. More than likely, you going to their house and chilling with them outside of work too. So a lot of people that I know or talk to from the military say that's the biggest thing that they miss is just the people.
Yeah.
So I definitely miss a lot of people that I worked with. But I definitely learned, more just communicative skills. You know what I mean? Like you're really serving with people from all over the world in a sense, in essence. Because a lot of people, not just from America, it's people from all over the world too that becomes a sailor in the Navy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, like we had some people from Africa, some like islands, everywhere really. You know what I mean? Like they all go to boot camp the same way as us, but they're just not. I guess, getting their American citizenship through there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just cool because like it's a lot of just different people, different personalities, like how to like deal and cope with different people. That was the coolest thing too.
Yeah.
And it just really, really taught you to be a man outside of just coming from where you came from. Like you just learn different traits from different people. Like I said, like talking to people, how to communicate with people, leadership skills, being in positions where it's like you had to train people. It was a lot of stuff that I really like enjoyed from the military, like shaped me to be a man shaped me to be the man that I am today. Just putting in like positions where it's like, all right, I had to figure something out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's really just like, like a fight or flight type of thing all the time. But you always had to fight through it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I definitely noticed when you came back that you were more mature, more assertive, more focused. So I think in that regard, so that definitely saw that change in you. And a little neater too. So it was just like we quickly forgot about that though. He was neat at first, and then he came back to his old self. No, but yeah. I definitely noticed a change from pre-service to post-service. So thank you for your service too, because I know that was a sacrifice that you and your fellow sailors. And everybody in the serving currently, or have served in the military, is a big sacrifice, because you kind of give up a lot of your freedom and your things that you want to do to serve our country. So definitely thank you and appreciate that.
Thank you for the support.
Yeah. So like I said, as we close here, is there anything that you like to share about those who may be interested in serving in the military or serving as a submariner or sailor, so to speak? I mean, any words of words of advice, recommendations?
Yeah.
Who do you talk to? How do you find the right person to talk to about it?
Yeah. So, just for, I guess, just telling y'all information about it. Like, submarine force is all voluntary, so anybody can do it, but just in a sense where you had to have like a clean medical background, and it's really more strenuous when it comes to like them selecting people. Not everybody can just do it, but if you are interested, I would say definitely do your research. Don't be claustrophobic and like, oh yeah, let me try to do the submarine. You're not gonna make it. Even to this day, I'm like, how did I even do this? But like I said, it's really like a fight or flight type of response 24/7 in the military in general. So you just have to have that mindset just to like, all right, let me be focused, let me do what I have to do, and let me succeed at all times. Because that's really what it is. Like, it's really like the civilian life, but it's more, strict type of everyday living. Like, you just had to be accustomed to people yelling at you, showing you right and wrong in not the nicest way possible. You know what I mean? But if that's something where you want to do just to get more experience in life, do it. Just always have a plan. I think that's the biggest thing that you told me, is like always have a plan, and that really like sticks to me to this day. When I like joined, is like, just make sure you have a plan. So like from me to you, always have a plan too. Just don't go join things just for the spur of it and then hate it because you didn't do your research and anything like that. Like, always do your research, know what you're getting into. And if that aligns with your goals and what you want in your life, do it. But submarine force, I love it. I went that route because I wanted to do something that was different. I wanted to do something that literally 0.02 of all the U.S. or even like the world population is even doing.
You're in a special class of people, experience people.
Exactly. So I want to do something different. Like, I just want to be in a situation where I can be like this and I can talk about it and share my experiences, at least in that area of my life. But if you're really interested in submarines, like, let me know. Like, send me a DM, like contact me, and I'll definitely talk more about my experiences and how if you have any questions, I would love to answer it, and just try to point you to the right direction if that's like a recruiter in your area or things like that. But it's nothing like hard to get into, because the submarine force, like I said, is voluntary, so they're always looking for people, and it's always going to be a need for submariners.
And it's not a glamorous job, but it's a, I guess, rewarding job.
Yeah, just to say that I can't talk about it is rewarding enough.
Yeah. I want to know.
Like, I love saying that. It's like, oh, I gotta kill you if I tell you type thing. But like we did some real cool things. Like, if you want to do some cool things around the world and be part of like an elite group, at least in the I guess the world's best military or navy, like, definitely do it.
Yeah. And then, like I said, the Navy's pretty cool. Like I said, with the Marines being out there with the SEALs.
Yeah, we did stuff with the SEALs and all that stuff too. So like, it was cool. Like, we did some stuff like training with the SEALs and actually on deployment with the SEALs. So it's real cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool right there. Yeah.
We did, like I said, you do some cool things in the submarine force. Like you actually, like, I don't know, it's real cool because we were called the Secret Service, so like we do some things that like you can't find information about. You know what I mean? So
the stealth and the missions that nobody knows about.
Yeah, exactly. Not even the president or anything. Like the president don't even know where we are. So that's the cool thing. Yeah,
that's cool, man. I mean, that's real. that's real cool, and it's been a blessing just to be able to experience that. And I guess as we close, I think that like you said, God has a plan for everything, and sometimes we go down paths that we don't really plan to go. Yeah. But we end up going down there. And the good news is that once you got out, you decided to go ahead and get your bachelor's in marketing, and then you took some classes in computer programming and so forth. And so
definitely.
And now you're a dad and have kids and stuff like that, man. So it's a blessing right there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like that's the cool thing about military too, is just like the benefits and all that stuff afterhand. Like you sacrifice your life, like it could be better, but you definitely have some resources to further your career outside of the military. Yeah. But yeah, I definitely enjoy that. Getting my school paid for, getting that bachelor's degree, going to boot camps and going to different educational platforms that I don't even have to pay a dime to. So it definitely pays off going to the military if you have plans to do things after it. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to, like I said, you don't want to do something and don't have any plans to do something afterwards. Yeah. Especially if it doesn't work out for you. But yeah, I chose to do 5 years and get out, so that was my decision. But I still have friends in there and still to this day.
I said, okay.
Yeah, and actually it's cool because somebody I went actually like he got on the boat like around the same time as me, and he's now like a senior chief now, so like he's up there when it comes to like ranks. So it's like cool to see that like people that I went, had the whole same pipeline in the sense, doing big things in the Navy now. So,
that's cool. Pretty cool. Yeah. Well, once again, thanks, man. Thank you so much for kind of sharing your story and sharing about your experience in the Navy. And like I said, thank you again for your service.
Yeah, appreciate it.
And we got to talk about some other stuff, man. Maybe by the time next time we talk, man, maybe some of that stuff that you did was be unclassified.
Hey, yeah, we'll be right here. Get it here firsthand.
That might not be a good thing either, right? So, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Firsthand right here.
But thank you, man. Yeah, but thank you so much, man. And guys, if you have any ideas about, future episodes that you'd like to talk about, let us know. Let me know. And we can plan accordingly. So if you know anybody, that's another thing. Yeah, if you know somebody that's doing some really cool things and making a difference, let us know, because we would love to speak with them and share their story. So until next time, you guys take care. God bless you, and we'll see you.
Twinkled off in the distance. The saboteurs began the nocturnal work. Then, as the party paddled back to the submarine, another train came highballing up the track. The party was still paddling furiously when wham! What a thrill! The charge made a much greater explosion than we expected. The engine's boilers blew, wreckage flew 200 feet in the air, and a flash of flame and smoke. Cars piled up and rolled off the track, and a writhing, twisting mass of wreckage. Cheers. And such are the things submariners are made of. Today, another two join our ranks.
We all shall see these presents. Greetings.
Greetings!
Let it be known that electronics technician third class Kenneth T. Cooper and sonar technician submarines seaman Jairus Bethel, having successfully completed the rigorous professional requirements for qualification in submarines, and having gained a thorough knowledge of submarine construction and operation, having demonstrated their reliability under stress, and having my full confidence and trust, I hereby certify that they are qualified in submarines. Given this 30th day of June 2016 on board USS New Hampshire, signed J.E. Weed, Commanding Officer, USS New Hampshire.
All right. LS3. Front and center. Cooper, good job.